All right, Larry Krueger here from the Krug Show, the Pig in a Pickle Krug Show with a little San Francisco Giant video. That's right. Check out Pig in a Pickle, 2 locations, Emeryville and Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out. Pig in a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. All right, let's talk a little bit about the Giants. They were on TV on Saturday for the first time all spring against the Oakland A's, and we got a chance to get our first look at the 2024 San Francisco Giants. Well, one Cactus League game is never complete. You never really get a good feel off one game. But a couple things that stood out. One, Jordan Hicks looked good. I mean, he's throwing his 4-seamer, his 2-seamer. Seemed like he had command of the slider. He's going to need to be more than just a 105-mile-an-hour heaver out of the bullpen to make it as a starter. So it was good to see him have command of his slider. He got outs with that pitch, and he looked pretty good. I got to be honest. Jordan Hicks looked really, really good. My favorite part of the game, though, was 2 parts. It was Jorge Soler with the bat speed. He ripped a couple of shots foul that were just absolute rockets. Like, so hit so hard that even when they replayed it with the slow-mo, you can barely even find the ball. I mean, that's how hard he's hitting the baseball, and it's good to see. And then they did an in-game interview with him and John Miller, and you can see Jorge Soler has just an awesome personality, just a happy guy, happy to be with the Giants, happy to be in the big leagues, happy to be, playing baseball and keeping it real basic. And it just seemed like, he had a lot of great things to say in that interview. So that was great to see, because not only does Jorge Soler add a big time bat, but he adds a big time presence to that lineup. Couple other things really stood out. Wade Meckler can really hit. I mean, that guy can absolutely hit. There's no question about it. He can hit the baseball. So, I mean, he's got balance in his swing. He can go the other way. He's just a good hitter. You can just tell he's a good hitter. So I don't know how they're going to create room, where exactly they'll create room, but man, room needs to be created for Jorge Soler. I mean, for Wade Meckler, because he can hit. He absolutely can hit. Line drive hitter. Whether he's coming off the bench or if he's in the starting lineup, I mean, you're still talking about a guy who can definitely swing the bat, and that was great to see. Watching him, get good cuts in this game on Saturday, that was good to see. And who knows? I mean, is Yaz and Slater and all these guys, are they all coming back for another go round, or are we going to see the Giants go to some younger players? So I thought that kind of stood out to me right there. Just the fact that Meckler can really hit. Then Matt Chapman. I mean, say what you want. The Giants have Casey Schmidt and Matt Chapman, and they both can play the hell out of third base. Watching Matt Chapman play third base is like every high school and college kid who's ever dreamed of playing third base should just watch every Giants game all year long, because this guy's going to put on a how to play third base clinic on a regular basis, and it's going to be a joy to watch. So I got to give Farhan credit for Chapman. In fact, if you look at Farhan's offseason here, it's still, in my mind, incredibly lacking, especially when you factor in the Giants were bought for $100 million and they're worth $4 billion, and they're acting very cautious about every single move that they make. Like, they couldn't possibly spend, $2 million extra dollars on something and have it be waste. It'd be like, oh my God, that would be the worst thing ever for a team that was bought for $100 million and is worth $400 billion, or worth $4.4 billion, and bought for $100 million, worth $4 billion. Bought in 92, it's 2024. So, I mean, that's a pretty good rate of return right there. But as far as Farhan, I'll say this for his offseason, at least he's added some guys that are kind of interesting to watch. Jorge Soler's got bat speed. Jung-Hoo Lee is the great experiment. Can a guy who did it in the KBO actually transition to a big money, everyday leadoff spot center field gig in the big leagues? We don't know that he can, but it's going to be fun to watch. Even Nick Ahmed, the way he plays shortstop, defensively, really under the radar pickup. Chapman plays the hell out of third. He's going to be fun to watch. Tom Murphy, I mean, he's got a little power behind the plate, but I mean, how about a couple other under the radar arms? Couple lefties that are interesting to me. Ethan Small, and Amir Garrett. I mean, those were kind of under the radar pickups that could definitely help out throughout the course of the year. And who knows? Maybe even Cooper Hummel will be able to hit a little bit. So I'll say this about Farhan: I'm underwhelmed by what he did, considering what he had at his disposal and how big of a game he talked. But I'll say this: the guys that they did add are interesting, no doubt about that. There's interesting players there, that's for sure. And as far as the roster's concerned, I mean, you never know. I mean, I expect Joey Bart to be moved here. You saw over the weekend the big announcement was that JD Davis has been placed on waivers. So, I expect somebody to pick him up. Um, that should be interesting. Are the Giants still in on Blake Snell? Are the Giants still in on Jordan Montgomery? I mean, to me, they're another good starting pitcher away from maybe being a contender for a playoff spot. So why wouldn't you do it? I mean, Jelly, Tristan Beck, Robbie Ray, Alex Cobb, none of these guys are going to be ready at the beginning of the year. And then you look at Keaton Wynn, and some of the injuries they've had there. Um, it looks like he's not going to be ready. I mean, the Giants could. Mason Black looks pretty good. Roop, I thought, looked really good in the ninth inning. But do they lean on just young pitchers, or do they try to add that one more veteran arm? Michael Lorenzen, Jordan Montgomery, um, you know, Blake Snell. There's options out there if they want to spend the money. And now that Tristan Beck's hurt, Jelly's hurt, Keaton Wynn's hurt, Ray's hurt, Cobb's hurt, they may want to try to get themselves a little bit more firepower in that rotation by adding one more arm. If they get a Blake Snell, if they get a Jordan Montgomery, it's a totally different ball game. You're adding a 25 to 32 starter to a rotation that badly needs one. So it's going to be interesting. I'll say this for the Giants: after watching them in the first game, it'll be interesting. They're still not going to hit enough for me. I mean, like, they want to play Luciano at short, but I don't think he's going to hit enough to make the team. So then they're going to lean on Nick Ahmed. Is that ideal? They should be going with Casey Schmidt, but they're not. They're going with Matt Chapman. We'll see what Bailey does behind the plate. Can they find a trade partner for Joey Bart? Can they find three good outfielders on a daily basis? Is the pitching deep enough? These are all questions that are going to be answered in the months ahead, but they don't look terrible. I'll just say that. They don't look terrible. And they look good against the A's. And they're going to need 3 or 4 more moves and some good luck. But if they get those moves, if they get that luck, they could contend for a wild card spot. It's not totally crazy. But to me, it's just a very underwhelming off season when you think about they got the fans, all hot and bothered about Shohei and Yamamoto and didn't deliver anything close to that. And we'll see. We'll see where it goes. But they did make some interesting moves. They are a little bit more interesting than last year. To me, it's about whether they hit and do they have enough starting pitching depth, and that's all TBD. All right. Thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of the Krug Show. Thanks to Underdog Fantasy for sponsoring this video. Check the link in the description. Use the promo code Krug, and they'll match you up to your first $100. And thanks to all of you guys, and also thanks to Sharp Corner Sports Cards and Collectibles. Call Anthony Catania, 831-521-5264. And thanks to all you guys for supporting the Krug Show on YouTube.